Hello and welcome, and here we are again. We're going to set up a brand new art jam. Let me just set that up. Should have done this just a second before starting the thing. Right then. Just got 7-day trial of the paid version of this. So. See how that goes. So yeah, that should allow us to make a bigger canvas, because last time I tried to make the canvas quite big and it wouldn't let me. Jesus Christ, sorry for the flashbanging everyone. It's so white. Should we just try the regular grey this time instead of light grey? I just feel like it doesn't look very bright on the stream. Things often want to be bright on the internet, don't they? Alright, here we are. So, I didn't have much of an idea of what to paint today. I've got a few ideas swirling around in my head, but not quite settled on any one in particular. Oh. Yeah, I'll have to get used to this. I've been painting a bit in Critter. The brush sensitivity is good. Yeah, I thought we should probably stick to what we know at the moment, and what works on this software for me, which is those strange machines from space. But I was thinking maybe expanding a little bit today. Maybe we can do some, I don't know, some kind of transport devices. Maybe we can have some people, some characters. So yeah, currently that's the question. So what can we paint today? Let's start off. I would like to do someone using one of the Among Us computers everyone keeps calling them. Very out of touch. Yeah, someone using one of these computers would be quite cool. Like to make it a bit more interesting than like the default one. Let's make it a little bit wider. Give it like a side thing there. That sort of shape. This one's very organic and rough. See how it turns out. But yeah, I quite like that one. I want to flatten the top of that there. Little screen is just like an extra bit added on, almost. I want to make the stand a bit of a different shape. It maybe wants to be a bit taller. So this is the size of the person. This is maybe their waist. And then their legs. Okay, so the base of the machine should really be touching down about here. I feel like. I do kind of like that shape. That overlap's different. I don't think I've done anything with this sort of base shape before. See me struggling with the controls. Yeah, so this one's quite tall indeed. But a lot of them will be, because a lot of it is just the stand to kind of get it up to the height of a person, isn't it? Something like that. I would like to make the base a little more interesting, or just a little less of a lump. I don't know. Yeah, I think making it slimmer like this is the way. I think it should interact with the floor just a bit more differently. Something like, I still want kind of like the base shape. I want it to be like that. Does that make sense? On the floor, a bit softer. I've exaggerated that kind of show it off. Yeah, we can have a machine like this. I ought to try out some other more creative bases as well, like maybe having an actual like post instead of it being solid. So many different designs. If I did a post, it would be something like that instead. Should we go with that? I kind of like it, but it doesn't look sturdy, you know? What I'd prefer to do is have it still be that material, but have the base really bottleneck. Something like that. Does that look strange, though? I think we can get away with that. I think I might do something more like give it a bit of a snail's tail, though. How's that look? Yeah, I quite like the idea of the snail's tail. Make this screen a bit more centralized. Yeah, we'll just make it a bit more symmetrical in general. Something like that. This is looking nice already, you know. Maybe give it some handles as well. I don't know why, I just like the handles. I feel like I maybe do them a bit too squared when they actually look nice or rounded. Yeah, something like that. When the ship starts rocking, you know, if you get like hit by something, you can kind of got something to grab onto in the machine in front of you. Maybe even one that's down here. Is that too many? I think that's a few too many. Or I might do just the one that's down here even, because that would make more sense. It's easier to grab onto than the side ones, but I feel like the side ones will help you to swivel it around a little bit, maybe, if you ever need to do that. Ergonomics. We've got someone joining us. I managed to get that smiley face to look like it's looking over there then. No. You could do that. Okay, so I want to have another person as well, though. I want to have someone here who's kind of just observing on the sidelines. Let's make this canvas bigger. So let's double it straight away. So we're going to link them. And this one, what is it, 2160? There you go. Now I might actually make my drawing a little bit bigger, because I felt like I wanted to do my last ones a bit bigger, have a few more pixels. Yeah, why not? Got this nice big canvas. And it's probably going to end up bigger, this canvas is. It's my art jam, so. Draw big, why not? I think that should kind of, I don't know how to put that into the rules, but it should be like, if you do a big drawing, you know, by the rules, you should be required to spend some more time on it. And we're going to be spending about 2 hours on this. Maybe I can move the second person a bit closer. Maybe even have them covering the machine up slightly. Although I don't want too much of the machine covered, because I might redraw it in another way. I don't know. I don't want an awkward collision at the same time. I think we got a nice machine there, and that's pretty unique. I don't think I've drawn one that looks quite like that before. And we've got some characters to work on. I don't know whether I'm going to put them in like space style armor, or if I'm going to put them in more textile type clothes. So we'll figure that out Well, we've got to figure that out now. Maybe we should do just a bit more the detailed sketch on this on these people. Trying to get just the right brush size now that I've upscaled it. I want long hair to be quite common in this universe. I don't know why. I want to... I don't know. I like the space armor, but I feel like sometimes it doesn't feel very utilitarian. Like, people aren't going to be wanting to wear that all the time, right? When they're on the ship and everything. Let's do it though. Let's do the space armor because I kind of know how to do the space armor. And I haven't really had any practice at doing textile type space costumes. I haven't had much experience in costume design, like, at all, come to think of it. So yeah. He's going to be doing something like twiddling a knob. Like that. Let's do his back leg. There you go, a bit more of that kind of gesture. And this person is kind of just sort of stood there. Yeah, something like that. Lovely. I have a feeling this machine should be green. Let me just give me 1 second. Got the dishwasher on. I don't know if it's making noise in the background. It's not that loud, but I don't know if it's getting through to the mic. Okay, then we've got green. And I'm not sure exactly. We wanted to do some more subtle colouring last time, I remember. I wanted it to not be so saturated, so let's try and figure out how to do that. Although, I don't know. I want this one to be... You know what? Let's do the ultra metallic. Let's do ultra metallic. Well, not ultra... Wow, yeah. I have a kind of idea for what I want. I might be able to show you what we're going to go for, actually. Let's bring it up. Let's go for this sort of material. Kind of starry, galaxy-like, sort of green metallic, but it's not super duper duper metallic. Like I'd say this one is ultra, like really metallic, because it's got such dark reflections, which that one doesn't have as much of. This is unfinished, of course, as well. This is going to have loads more specular reflections and such on it. We painted that stream a few weeks ago. Magma's gone. Excuse me 1 second. Did I click X? Pretty sure I didn't click X. I just opened Critter. How did opening Critter close Magma? Crazy. Here we go. I don't know what it's like. I might shrink this person's drawings after they leave. I'm not sure. That's what I mean. If you do big drawings, I mean, they've obviously seen me doing a big line drawing, but they don't know that I'm going to be painting it in. I think there should be a no big drawings that take 30 seconds rule. If you do a big drawing, it should take, you know, you should spend some time on it, a couple hours, right? Can't change that now though. I'll get like a write-up, a default write-up for these. Why is my brush so large? Oh, I'm just about to stop painting it. Okay, I'm gonna think of the bright green. I'm gonna start from the brightest sort of areas. We want it to be a bit more desaturated than that. maybe more desaturated, more yellow. Let's get just the right value here, especially on this microscopic color picker that they give you on Magma. I really wish they let you make it a lot bigger. So yeah, just to kind of talk through this, we are doing something very basic, which is everything that paints up gets this. Oh, sorry, everything that points upwards. I can do a material ball for you guys even. We got to start with a base, so it's not going to be very useful yet. Basically, everything that points upwards is going to be nice and bright. And you've got to kind of think about the organic shapes in there and how that's going to work. Even the stand, right? And we're going to go just a little bit darker. That might be too much. We'll see. Oh, we're good. You can get the stuff that's kind of facing forwards. Maybe a lot of this stuff. It's not going to be quite. It's not going to be dark necessarily. I think the stuff on the side is going to be a bit darker still. Quite bright. This stand is going to have a lot of this sort of value just because it's lower down. I'm going to make it a little bit darker. A lot of the stand's going to be that sort of colour. Now we want even darker and bluer. Yeah, we get in there. Something like that. Right, we're going to do the bottoms, and I'm also going to do the sides a bit darker. That right hand side. I think that'll look nice. Notice how we didn't even make another layer. This is all in one layer. That's how I often paint on here. I'm going to do the bottom of the stand here. This snail's tail's looking a bit odd because it doesn't feel like it's behind the machine. I don't know how we can fix that. We really need to show the foreshortening on it. I think it won't look very well. It might never, but it especially won't look great until it's rendered in. The thing is, this is green, and we usually do green screens. Let's do blue screens on this one, and I'm gonna do them as just basic shapes to start with, just like a mask, really. A little bit like that. That one obviously needs to get a little bit bigger to match this one. A little bit rounder. So the shape of the sketch is going to have to change just slightly. And you know, I wanted to talk about today as well. I've really been thinking about this streaming with Magma, and I think I might really like lean into it quite hard on this channel, because I'm really confused. I'm struggling with the dilemma right now. I am at a severe lack of understanding, I feel like, in my own market. What I don't understand is why there aren't more art streamers, for one. And you see, I'm just doing a Terminator here, by the way. A little bit of a dark line between these. But yeah, why there aren't more art streams in general, for one, especially on YouTube. There's none. There's just none. As simple as that. There's pretty much none. Well, there is one or two, actually. But yeah, why there's very few art streamers in general, and why nobody has made this like a major facet of their streaming, right? I really think I've found a niche here. Like, this is like gold. It seems like, but it just doesn't make sense, because why have other people not already capitalized on it? Surely this is like an excellent path for a streaming career, is banking on this piece of software, right? Because like I've spoke about before, viewers who find your stream can click a link and come and paint with you, right? That's incredible for for a streamer specifically, right? Not. I mean, how is nobody capitalizing on this? That's what I don't understand. Like, I really feel like this software is like seriously being underrated, and I think there's a niche to be found here. I really genuinely do. I think there's a big niche to be found here, and I think it can really revive the quite dead, art streaming world. Because yeah, just no one's streaming art. Oh, we was doing a material ball, wasn't we? Okay, so it was like this on the front, around the edges, a little bit darker on the sides and below. Here's our material ball. You see, it's not a simple material ball. It's a bit of a cubic one. We've got a front, bottom, top, right hand side. And then what I'm starting to do is get a bit of dark, this is how you make things look reflective as well. A bit of a cheat for it is you make the Terminator really dark and high contrast. And we'll make it even darker and even higher contrast. So it'll be a bit like this. And you'll see the darker I make that, the more reflective the ball looks generally. Especially if you remember to keep your Fresnel effect on the edges like this. You see this is starting to turn into quite a material. I'm going to try and use the blur brush. I really don't like the blur brush in this software anymore, but let's just see if we can get that to look a bit more normal. There you go. Take some of the brush strokes out of it. It just adds its own brush strokes though. It's really useless. Is it because the stretch? Maybe if I turn the stretch completely off. No, not stretch. Maybe if I turn the stretch up. No. Oh, that's paint. Turn the paint all the way off. No. Turn the paint up. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I really don't like this blur brush anymore. I feel like it used to be a lot better when they very, very first added it, and they've done something to it since. But maybe it was always like that, and I just don't remember properly. Either way, I'm not a big fan of this blur brush anymore at all. Okay then. So yeah, like I say, I'm just gonna kind of make this a bit of a staple of the channel, and I'm gonna be streaming on here a lot. It's a good way to kind of get found as well, I guess, because my demographic, my kind of target audience is right on here, right? So they're gonna probably people will find me on here and find my channel that way, which would be nice. Demographics a tough one as well to nail down, because I always kind of initially aimed in this channel, in the Laugh Arts project, I always kind of initially aimed for the niche that I was a part of, which is an adult that has just decided to really take art seriously and has no rendering ability as of yet, but would like to be able to really fully render on a professional level, do really professionally finished artwork. That was the kind of demographic that I initially had in mind and that I was initially targeting. But yeah, it seems like you don't get to choose your demographic on YouTube, and it seems like the younger demographic that I don't understand at all. I have no idea. I really don't relate to, but it seems like that's the demographic, that's on here, and then this is where I want to go, deep into, and it just seems like that is the demographic for art, isn't it? It's going to be younger folks, because the art industry, the professional art industry, has been dying for a long time, and with the coming of AI, it's a tough thing to talk about, but it's kind of almost dead at this point. So that's where art kind of gets left, is in these niche spaces where it's done just for fun, and who's doing art just for fun? It's normally the younger demographic. So I'm kind of, and that has implications, for how I run my channel mainly with video editing. It's how I edit my videos. Might not have the same attention span as adults like myself, who prefer more boring videos where the novelty is more, and the information and the professionality is more of the thing that I look for in YouTube videos and streams and such. Well, you know, it's all chill anyway, I suppose, especially with streaming, because as much as I do kind of enjoy making videos, and YouTube is made with videos primarily in mind. Like, no one watches these streams because I haven't put videos on the channel to get people to actually come to the channel. But really, at heart, I do want to stream more than videos. Coming up with ideas for videos is just too exhausting. I feel like, honestly, I feel like this wants to be even taller, just on this side right here. That screen might be drooping down a bit too low. Just lift that screen up a little bit, you see. It's starting to look good. Okay, should we start to maybe paint the first? What colour should we put him in? Kind of a beige orange, I like. We're gonna have that be kind of the medium value. Let's get the bright. I want to desaturate that, by the way. It's too saturated. Something more like that, yeah. I know there's going to be all sorts of muscles on the armor and stuff like that. I have a very specific kind of design of armor in mind. I would show you, but I don't want it to close down my my tab again, for whatever reason it did last time. Okay, that's going to be just dark because it's kind of tucked under the arm, and so is the underneath of the arm. It's going to be dark. Doing his hand interacting with the control is going to be extremely difficult because his hand's already in place as well. Something like that. Like, I feel like he's grabbing a dial and, you know, twisting a dial or something like that. Where's his other arm? I think his other arm is maybe grabbing onto that handle, actually. It's always, I feel like it's always awkward drawing another arm on this side where it's kind of reaching forwards. I don't know why. It's always just like that shape is weird. It's hard to try kind of show his arm that way with it still looking like it's having, you know, 3D features. But yeah, I try a lot of the time, you know. It's weird. It sounds strange, but I try to kind of think like AI, because AI does generalize things quite well, especially with people, right? And I think AI really does just kind of remember how things look at every angle. Well, it has examples of it because other artists have drawn it and then had it robbed from them so that the AI knows. I want like a metal collar on his spacesuit as well. Is he gonna? I'm gonna do it without the glass bubble because he is just indoors. I think just before they leave the spaceship, they put the glass bubble on and then it's sealed, right? So when they haven't got a glass bubble, it's just a big, really wide collar like this, metal collar. Quite round, and it isn't actually perfectly round, or it shouldn't be, because it needs to be a bit longer at the front. You know, you can imagine if the glass dome was actually on him right now, it couldn't do that. Oh, sorry. It couldn't do that because it's blocking off his nose. The glass dome at the front of it would have to be like there, which means this collar have to go something like that, right? I was trying to get my attention. Okay. Should we stick with the orange? You know what? I'm thinking red. We're going to switch his colours up. I'm going to go red instead. I did think red initially, but I was like, it's a bit too cliche because red's, you know, complementary to green. It'd be a bit too obvious, but no, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. I want bright red at the top facing surfaces. Even brighter. I might need to change the chroma a little bit to make it not be pink, but pink's not going to be bad either, to be honest. If it turns out pink, then so be it. It's too dark. That's more like that value. I'm just trying to match the values here, although the red is itself a darker value than the kind of orangey beige that I picked. I really can't seem to get these values just right. A little bit more. Yeah, I really do feel like this color picker is just slightly too big. Yeah, so he's going to be wearing red now instead. I like how some people are actually starting to paint. This person from the beginning, they did do these couple of drawings, but they have now done a nice sort of painting. Quite like this sketch too, although this person just sketched it and then quickly left. And this guy's already starting off with the paint. Although it looks to me like they don't have a pen. So many people that don't have pens and digitizers. And they're so cheap as well. That could be a thing with the channel. I could do a lot of giveaways with them, especially to people who paint with me often and seem to be painting with their finger on their iPad or whatever. Okay, we're going to make this more red and less pink. I think we are wanting it a bit more red right now. And it's just going to be kind of darker if it's red. That's the thing. It's just so much darker of a local value. And then we'll put this guy, or this, oh, nice, they're back. This person in a blue suit. Okay, then. I want to give them, I like the grey hair for these futuristic stuff for some reason. I think it just really fits. Or shall I could go a bit more, it would be a bit more retro-futuristic if I go with kind of the 1960s aesthetic. I think this is going to be a man, and then I think I'm going to do this one as a woman. Maybe I'll go a different route. Give him a bit of a 1960s haircut, if that makes sense. Kind of short back and sides. I should probably focus on the machine though, at the moment. Yeah, just regular hair like that. You see how rough and scruffy these start off as, but it's so nice how they develop over time. That's what I love about painting and speed painting, is how crude things look right when you're starting them off. We're going to leave the guy for now because, like I say, we've got about 2 hours. This might be something where we leave him a bit unfinished. I don't know. All of these we leave him a bit unfinished, really, because it takes a while to paint stuff, right? And it's not, watching the whole process isn't always that interesting anyway. Amazing. Right. Let's get these darks in just a little bit more. Alright, someone just put a message through. Okay. I feel like I should link the stream in the chat at the very start of the art jam as well. Yeah, I think this is really the way I'm going to go with the channel though. It's just like having an instant community. It's so powerful for pretty much exactly what I want to do. You know, have a bit of an art community online. Okay, let's let's spend some time on some proper time on this machine, and I'm going to accelerate it to the point that it's finished a lot more than the person using it, and then we'll work on this person and then on this person. I mean, I do have my channel linked on the my profile, but I guess it might be better, especially because I live stream while these art jams are going, right? So if I put the link to the stream in the art jam chat, it just makes sense. I guess this guy's arm is going to be extra detailed. I mean, it's going to have to be. Get some detail on these screens as well. I love doing the screens because of the glass. Something simple like that for now. We've got 2 people with us at the moment. I do wonder if this one will die or if it will keep going, because it's only my last couple of art jams that have really been successful in that they've nice, someone said bye-bye to me. Yeah, it's only been my last couple of art jams that have really been successful in that more than 12 people have joined them. I'm just checking that there's enough pixels in this, and I think it's still kind of small, but there's just enough. There's just enough. I might make it just a tiny bit larger, a little bit like that size maybe. Then it's got just a few more pixels. Hogging all the pixels today, but I've got a nice big I can make the canvases bigger, like I say, up to 8K, so my artwork, I can hog the pixels. Okay, so we're doing the metal here, and this is the same metal that I usually do, the generalized version of it anyway. It's really just 2 values. It's black and white, and they're both tinted blue, and obviously it's not completely black and completely white, but it's very close to that. It's extremely high contrast. The higher contrast you make things, the more reflective they look. It's probably the lesson of the month, really. And I'm actually thinking about making a video on how to do reflective and glossy, materials. And that's going to be a big one because I've got so much practice doing that now. It's insane. But I still don't know all the rules. And some of the rules for me are still in the stage where I intuit them. So I know the rules in my subconscious, but I haven't figured out what the rules are still, even if I'm following them, which is maybe that's something I should make a video about, even in art. Is indeed this idea that you can know how to paint but not know how you do it yourself, and explaining how you do that is a whole nother question. It's like I know how to speak English, but explaining how the English language works, I'm not going to know everything consciously that I know subconsciously, right? Okay, let's give this some joysticks. Or I guess it has to be... I like symmetrical controls. That looks nice. Just trying to think of a basic pattern I can do that will turn into something more finished later, that will turn into buttons basically and controls. So it's interesting how we do these in that I don't really know what it's going to look like when I start. It's all just very generalized, like I say. Still probably the word of the month as well as generalization. How good those screens look just after applying that tiny bit of highlight. I'm gonna paint over that. I only did this black line here as an example anyway. You can kind of get rid of that. The machine is starting to look nice. I might get rid of the snail tail on the base because it does look sturdy enough without it now. And I imagine that these things are basically welded into the floor. Yeah. It still looks pretty good like that. See if we can get a third person joining. We got 2 other people right now. Like I say, I don't know if this one will die out like my previous ones. It really has only been my most recent art jams where people have actually started to join and paint. Before now, it was kind of like 2 or 3 people would join sometimes, but it would die out very quickly. Need to do the dark rim here to make it look like these screens are sunk in. I've done it on the middle one. These edge ones need it. We're in such early stages right now, it's nice. I like this kind of free screen design. I did like a white porcelain machine with this similar kind of oh, that's nice. Similar kind of free screen design before, especially they look kind of like grapes. I feel like these screens where they're a bit oblong, it looks like a grape has been like pushed into the machine. It's just such strange concepts these machines are, honestly. Trying to get to the darkest dark right here, but it's very delicate. It's very delicate because really the only reason this plane here is facing down, if I draw it for you, is because the screen basically is pushed into it. So it's kind of, you know what I mean, like that. If I do it less exaggerated, it's like that. So I'm just thinking, you know, this part where it's facing down, it's going to be a little bit darker, right? That's where we're going to get something like this. But it's, as I just showed you, it's got to be really delicate. And you see how it's just a bit too high contrast there now? It's got to be so delicate. I don't think it's going to get that dark, really. I probably just made it a bit too dark there. Thinking about it too much is the issue. Okay. Let's rub out some of this some of the sketch on the outside so that we can start to do some more silhouette work, including the handle, because we can add that handle on later if I remember or if I still like the idea by then, which I think I will. I think it will look nice with a handle there when it's done. We've got a pretty good idea now of what it's going to look like when it's done too, by the way. This guy's pose is not casual enough with the way his legs are. I need to just make his legs slightly less exaggerated. A bit more like that. Okay, let's get some highlights in here. Some early highlights. See how it looks. Are we going to go with the circle light that we always do? We're just going to add some of these in randomly. They're really just for taste. Like, so I can get a taste of what the highlights could look like after a bunch of work. Okay, those highlights are going to be much different, I think. Because the paint isn't smooth enough yet. Even there's kind of 2 layers to doing reflective stuff. There's a very smooth initial painting, and then on top of that comes the very sharp highlights. There you go. This is more like the highlight for up here, you see. This one's going to get bent a little bit like that. And you'll see this will upgrade how the painting looks instantly, because that's just what highlights do. tough though, because it really is with the highlights. It's a matter of vibes. You know, you're trying to figure out what looks good and what looks as if it's complementing the form. You know. Okay, so you see that's pretty much upgraded how this thing looks, like instantly. And maybe connected to that same video will be the fact that it really is a bit like putting in these highlights early. A lot of the purpose of that is so it feels more finished, and when it feels more finished, it's actually easier to work on in the beginnings, if that makes sense. It's like, because you can see, you know, easier. It's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain. I want that to get just a little bit brighter right on the edge. So it's got a bit of a Terminator effect. Ah, sorry. Okay. This line here, this one's always kind of a difficult one to figure out just how soft it should be on these machines. Trying to kind of soften the look in general right now is the goal. Like I said, there's kind of a soft, airbrushy underlayer when you paint reflective things like this. It's thinned down to just me and one other person now. I think this is probably going to be one of the ones that dies. It might just be me for the remainder of the time after this person leaves. We'll see. I think once you've got one person as well, once it's an older art jam, this one's 40 minutes old, I think. And it's only got one person in it. It's not going to show up on either of the search pages. There's two things that can kind of boost your visibility, it seems, and that's how new your art jam is, and trying to get a Terminator in here, which is going to be interesting. How new your art jam is, or how popular it is if it's an older one. It's going to be really strange. This lighting right here. Someone joining. And then we've got to remember the ultra dark green. It's going to get really dark right as it starts to, you know, be sunken into the actual screen itself. And have that rounded edge. Yeah, see how much nicer that looks now already. And that's just because we really start with kind of lower contrast and we work towards the higher contrast. We sort of earn the higher contrast as we go. And so you see we start off with basic colours that don't look like much and a pretty scruffy drawing. And it really starts to take shape and feel like we're sort of sculpting it. This last like 5 or 10 minutes of work. This is where it really starts to transition. As soon as we put the highlights in, that was the start of the transitionary stage of moving into something that's a bit more, you know, we're not beginning anymore. We're kind of midway through the painting now. The screen should be darker in that crevice as well. Call it a shadow or call it occlusion. Either way, it should also be Get some of those dark blues in there. See, this one hasn't got in it, and it looks kind of weird, like it sort of just ends. One thing I haven't experimented with is, you see these screens aren't quite the round shape that I intend. Playing with the liquify brush to sort of, you know, this would probably be the stage to do it as well, but I might leave it out for today and leave the unknowns for later. See how that's looking. It's a bit too much now. It's a bit too many highlights, especially on this screen right here. Let's get that really dark edge too right there. I'm going to get rid of this highlight, of course. It's a bit underworked. It's just not right. I think we can get away with it being just a bit darker right here now too. Especially if we slam some highlights in there as well. Bouncing off the metal, I mean. Something like that maybe. I'd like to do that kind of shape as well. Bending around that screen. How's that look? And also some highlights right there need to be figured out. There's a lot of highlight shapes that are kind of competing right now. We want to converge on the ones that we like and kind of paint out the ones that we don't. It's also like editing the size and the blurriness of the highlights. We want them to be... This one's just not fitting even if I want it to for some reason. We want kind of pin sharp highlights here. The more pin sharp you make it, the smoother the surface looks. And I want it to literally look like the surface has like a glaze on it here. Doing some silhouette work there. Okay, should we give this metal control board some love? Put some really bright highlights on it. See where that takes us. Yep, looks a little bit more like metal. That's the goal. Oh, there you go. That was an inspired highlight shape, that was. Look at that. And it should go up there and maybe dip out. Something like that. Nah. But yeah, sometimes you find really clever highlight shapes that just work nicely and it's so satisfying. Shaping up to be a really nice machine this is, I feel like. I haven't played with the filters, with filtering the values of it yet. Might not need that, looking at it. I'm quite happy with it currently, but I always am until I then play with the filters and realize, you know, just how far off it is. Should we just see? Should we just see what the filters look like? It might only need a tiny adjustment. This colour picker is, the one thing I can give it is, it does make me a little bit better at painting things that aren't as miserable in their values. Because I really paint things quite gloomy and low saturation usually. So yeah. I feel like the rule here is to put the brightness up and make sure the contrast is up, but not as much as the brightness. Does that look better? For some reason the preview button's not working. Yeah, look at that. It's weird, isn't it? Yeah, that looks worse. Probably because the contrast has gone past the brightness there now. Yeah, you see, it didn't look gloomy when I was painting it, but now you can see how gloomy it actually was. That's the true brightness that it should be. I'm going to tone it down just a little bit and maybe we'll call it at that. See, it just looks like someone's flicked the light switch on. Boom. It's the only difference it really makes, but it's an important one. Because I paint things very realistically, but I paint them... I feel like I paint things in like super HDR. And so... it's like not how an image normally should be, where there's sort of a bit more detail in the lights than in the darks. I end up with a similar amount of detail in both. Turn that down a tiny bit. Okay. Doing that early in the process as well, like you see, I'll do that probably many times, but doing it early in the process lets me figure out what value things should be a lot earlier too, which is nice. We need this blur brush to work with us. On the softest. That doesn't look too bad now. I don't know. Maybe I have got the settings wrong. I need to have a good play with it. It's not working terribly now that I just click the soft brush again for some reason. But it might be just this area is good for it. I don't know. It's good for patching gaps in sometimes, the blur brush like that. But really, the big thing is places like here where you see it's not very smooth and you can see a lot of brush strokes. The way I paint, brush strokes are most of the way I speed paint, brush strokes are often not wanted. So I try to paint kind of a little bit hyper realistic. But man, if this blur brush doesn't just incorporate its own brush strokes, it's so annoying. Yeah, they need to really look into this blur brush. It would be... I swear it was different when they first implemented it. So much better before. Now I really feel like it just adds its own brush strokes, and that's super annoying because I mainly use it to get rid of brush strokes. So the blur brush shouldn't be adding its own brush strokes in there. It should just be blurring. See here where it's sort of rough brush strokes, that's what it's for. Sometimes it's better to use the blur brush a little bit smaller, but I feel like even that doesn't even fix the problem here. The problem is just with how this blur brush is programmed, that or the settings that I've got on it, but there's not very many of them to play with. I feel like I played with them all and it still does it. especially here, could use some work. And that's it. It's just me. That's the last person. I think it was the guy that was drawing this. So that's it, I think. Oh no, they've come back. I don't know. Maybe they'll just restart it. But yeah, I genuinely, I think when that person goes, that'll be this this art jam will be dead. But obviously, if I'm painting on here often, people will follow me, and then there'll be more people to see when I make an art jam or what have you. You know what else is confusing me? This website in general, this art jam. I found someone on here who followed me who has he's followed 45k people. I mean, that can't be right, can it? And they've been using it since 2023. How do you follow 40,000 people on any platform, let alone, are there even 40,000 people using Magma? Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have thought so. I thought it'd be just a handful of people, really, like a few thousand. But yeah, 40,000 people they're following, and 4,000 or so people that were following them. I don't know if they've got just a bot that just automatically follows people. I don't remember painting with them, but I'm not sure. Going mostly by feel now. Pretty much solely by feel, really. And that's looking right. Looking all right. Okay then. Need to fix my posture still when I paint. Yeah, like I say, just instant community on here. It's one of the big benefits of it. Like I say, I think I'll probably find some of my first live stream viewers might be found on this site. I don't really want to go around screaming to everyone that I've got a live stream. Put it subtly in chat at the beginning or something. I'm gonna make this a little bit darker so that the highlights can actually exist. See what ultra white looks like on here. I think it needs to be more saturated though. I think I made it darker and less saturated, which isn't good. You know what we just completely skipped over as well? Color abstraction. Should we put some color abstraction in there? Don't know. It feels like the color abstraction is better for the lower saturation stuff, but this isn't like super I mean, it's quite saturated green now, but it's not super saturated. Should we try it? Let me just fix this little patch. We'll try adding in some color abstraction, and bet you that makes it look like 10 times more realistic. It always does. Okay then, are we ready for the color abstraction tutorial 101? Grab a value, try to change the color to something completely random, and then you can't see my color picker on here, but and then try to match the value. Yeah, so it's similar, maybe a little bit darker, and then just brush some of that in and just influence it. That's not a good spot for that value, but maybe somewhere like here will be. And then it looks like it's reflecting something from the room. I think more of a purple would be good for this particular area, and it's a lot by feel as well. Can't help you when it's by feel, sadly. Needs to be darker and more purple. It's too bright. I think more like that. Yeah, still a bit off. I'm going to try target another area for a bit and see. Try and make this more reddish. But we still want it to be green overall. That's the catch, right? So we're going to keep zooming out and double checking that we haven't altered the color too much. I think the blues are going to be the way to go here, especially on these downward facing areas. We can probably sneak some blue in there. Just a tiny bit. I think under here probably a bit more. Yeah, I like the blues for the darker areas indeed. We should try some reds. Red is kind of complementary to the greens. I'm going to try and put some reds in just on the mid-tone areas. Where like this. You see we've got the pink, pinkish, reddish, whatever you want to call it, kind of clashing with the blue there. Yeah, I'm kind of in between. I'm on the fence. I don't know how much I like the color abstraction in this one compared to just having it be the green. But we'll try and work it in if we can. And especially once you get the highlights on top of the... once you remember that you can do even highlights themselves. Can be color abstracted. It's just kind of difficult because they have to be quite bright as well, don't they? Right in this little crevice here, this is where it's going to kind of suck some stuff in as well. On the top of this screen where it sort of bulges out, it's going to catch a main highlight, I think. Should be similar on this one. Although I haven't got the bulginess right on this one yet. It's becoming more and more realistic, you see. And where we have highlights like this, where I've done it kind of rough, to make them thinner and sharper, and this is how the circle kind of ends up developing a lot of the time. I do that where I paint sharper line in the middle, and I might even stretch this edge out just a little bit. look nice, right? Smooth this screen out a little bit with the smooth brush if we can. Get rid of the brushwork. Go a bit darker now. In fact, I'm going to go all the way to almost black here, because I want some final values. Whew, that is very dark. And that shows how we're kind of missing a bunch of the values, a bunch of the contrasts that we could have still, because we haven't gone... You know, there's going to be blacks here in this image, and we haven't done the blacks yet. Means the image itself just hasn't got the range, the total range that it's going to be afforded to it when it's finished. And the main places on these kind of machines where you see the very darkest values are right in these crevices around the screens. It's really deep there, right? And sometimes you can see right into the crevice, the angle, due to the viewing angle. They're a bit harsh right now, but I'll use the blend brush and blend them in a little. And I might do an extra pass with some really dark saturated blue to kind of blend them into the actual monitor screen a little bit more. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to get ultra saturated, quite dark blue. Let that live around the edges. Right, pushed up against the black. And when we do highlights in this area now, you know, they're really gonna pop, aren't they? Like that. It's looking nice. Maybe just this an interesting thing like that now. Everything's by feel. Once you get late into the painting, man. That's still where it could be. There you go. Of course, the highlights, especially the main highlights on these screens, they need a lot of work. A lot of work. Should be blurrier ones in the middle and sharper ones right on the edge where it's been sort of squished down by the perspective. And the sharper ones should also be a little bit brighter because they've been squished down. There's more light concentrated in one space. Does that make sense? Don't like them though still. I don't like how these look. I think they need some darkness around them. Some kind of abstract darkness like that, but not quite figuring out how to get that to work. I'm just gonna paint over them a little bit for now and remove their contrast. I might make the screen brightness effect at the top just a bit brighter indeed. Of course, slip a, you know, super bright highlight right in there. Bit darker, bit darker. Yeah, these screens are really super important for the effect of the whole machine. We really want them to look like glass beads, you know. I want them to look really rounded. A bit more dark on that side, at least on the big one, I think, will help it out. Ooh. It's tough though. It's almost like a battle. It's like fighting with it to kind of get it to look reflective, you know. Really get it to be convincing is a tough job sometimes. I think we can afford more blue here. I think we want the blue right on this ridge. We might be incorporating this blue a little bit more because we can put it on the you know, we can mirror it around the piece and have this part of the material ball. So it's kind of like this part is the bluer part, right? There's like a blue streak in there. And boy, what that sort of color abstraction can do for your paintings sometimes is crazy. I think it has helped this one. I really just, the goal for these is for them to look ultra realistic, you know, like super real rendering. For super cheap as well, for like really easy ultra realistic rendering. That's what these smooth materials afford you, because you haven't got to paint like 1,000 scales or wrinkles like you would with skin texture or the sort of textures that you get on animals. There's no fur. It's like ultra realism without the tedious elements that come with that. This top of this, should we just try cutting it down? Should we make it shorter? Will that cure it? I'm not sure. Maybe this person can help me decide. I'm gonna trim it down just a little bit. And what I was just about to do then, and I'm gonna continue doing, is making it quite a bit darker too. How's that look? Bring some of the brights back. Right there. I think on this side, some of the brights probably want to come back too. Bring some of the brights down, I guess, because we just rubbed out the top part of it. So we rubbed out most of the brighter elements. And this is going to be like the brightest part because it's the biggest part and it's right in the middle. Right on the top. Let's get some highlights in here. Right on the bottom of that screen there. Oh. Yeah, I used to have my tablet set so that it was it would only control like a small little square in the middle of my drawing area, and that was so good for doing the fine details like this, and for not getting hand cramp as well. It was really good for that. But I've gotten rid of that since, because this is a bit more adaptable to doing the whole screen like most people have it, and also it's easier for streaming. So yeah, no one else has joined in a little while. I think this art jam's defo going to be dead. This last person's going to be the last person to join me. It's so random because so many people joined the last time I streamed. Win some, you lose some, eh? Yeah, 1 hour 19 we've been streaming for. Just shows how fast you can paint these things too. So what I'm trying to show with these is you can really paint something quite impressive in a short amount of time with just generalization and minimal effort. Of course, I've been painting these for a little while now, so kind of got the practice in. Like I say, soon I'll make a video on how I do these ultra glossy reflective materials, you know. think once I make that video, I might actually improve myself a little bit at painting glossy and reflective materials, because I'll know the rules, you know, a lot more. There'll be a lot more set in stone in my mind. Easier for me then too. I think a lot of this channel, and the reason I've done it over the years, is a lot of it is actually teaching myself. I find that when I try to teach something, in order to teach it, I have to make the model in my mind like concrete, you know, flawless, and that can really help myself to learn. It's part of why I like trying to teach quite a lot, is because, you know, I love learning, and in teaching you do learn. You have to learn what you're teaching, right? Should this not go as bright? Because it's not going to let us put highlights in if it's not quite bright enough. That's what I'm thinking, what I'm worrying about. I think this needs to go out a bit more to be symmetrical as well. And of course, we need like a seam. And a shadow where this is meeting the green bodywork. And this is one of the areas where it's going to go pretty much black as well. Just like that. It looks like that's a plate that's like on top of the bodywork of the machine. This area here. Oh my why is my mouse always bugged out on the software? Oh, it's only bugged out with the color picker. Yeah, this area here. I want this is where we did a lot of that blue, and it did look nice, but I want it to be brighter now. Try not to lose the saturation. I had to bump the saturation up from my color pick then. Yeah, I just think it looks a bit better like that. And we'll make the darkness a bit more complicated, if that makes sense. So maybe we'll put the darkness just down there like that. There is a bit of complicated geometry right there, so it'd be good to kind of accentuate that. But it's going to be tough to find exactly what shape describes that. I mean, it really is a language. Painting is, you know, it's not just the visual language, but it's a language that you use to sculpt things in 3D. You know, you use certain rules and you do get a 3D model out of it, right? This is a 3D model. I could go into Blender and make this 3D model using this graph of it, this flattening of it. But I am still 3D sculpting at the end of the day, and it's one of the most satisfying parts of it all. Really saturated dark green. Person's getting on with their drawing. It looks great so far. How do you make the eyes look like they're looking over there? Okay. This software needs like emotes, doesn't it? Or stamps. There's so much of this is just going over to other people's paintings and drawings and saying, you know, nice drawings or whatever. We need like stamps and emotes to say that. Oh man, it's a nice opportunity there to put some crazy color abstraction in. That blue looks good, and I think I'm going to mirror it from here to here. Go right inside that highlight. Spread it out a little bit. Ooh, do some more work on that part, or maybe just very roughly glaze it over like that. that look better with that dark blue right around that area? I don't think it does. Might do right there though. It will definitely do down here. See how just the more we work this and smooth it over and add stuff and play with it, and it just gets more and more realistic as we go. So you reach a point where you just can't make it look any more realistic, right? Sorry, I'm just trying to get these just right. How that's looking now. Is his other arm going to be on the other control then? Is he going to be double controlling it? I say we do it. He's still not really going to be able to see his other arm, but I say we do it. Let's do it. I'm going to make this part a little bit bluer. Yeah, I think the blue and the green work nice for the color abstraction. Make that just a bit bluer like that. There you go. See, that looks better now. Looked a bit weird before, I feel like. We still haven't done much color abstraction in the highlights either, by the way. I think that needs to be a lot more closer to just jet white. Jet white? What is it called? What is just pure white called? Just pure white, I guess, is best. Got jet black, but that's because jet is a thing that exists and is the color black and gets used as a dye for black paint. I always want to say jet white for some reason. Just an idea for some what some of the reflections could look like right there. Trying to get just the right thickness of brush. Why, but it really doesn't feel like it for some reason. Okay. You see, we're getting kind of towards that more galaxy look now. Now that we've added so many highlights, especially the random sort of highlights. We might be ready to move on. Not that this will be counted as completely finished, but like I say, on stream, I don't mind not finishing things off completely. If I get them to that 95% mark, it'll be nice to and more time efficient to maybe move on to the guy that's controlling it now. And we have only got about half an hour left. It's going to be a shadow of his arm on this console as well, of course. We'll put in. I don't know about giving these things antennas. I normally make it like a metal antenna. Like that. Maybe that's where the handle should go. The handle being on the top kind of makes sense as well, you know, for these machines, because real life machines have that. They usually have like an eye, it's called, on the top. And then you use a crane to hoist the machine into position in the factory or wherever it's going, you know. So I think the handles at top make sense. But I also, kind of the canon in my head is that these machines all have a smooth top, and then the thing that lifts them into place in the ship during its construction is more like a suction cup or a magnet. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna put the boiler on. Hold again. I'm in my nightgown today, so you know it's gonna be a good stream. Isn't it? Spend half an hour on the character then and see how that looks. Oh, there you go. I think that's it. I think they're done and they've left. It is now officially a dead art jam. I think this is all the art that people... That was all the people that were going to have joined. Finish this guy off. Half an hour to do a person. What could go wrong? Dunno, maybe it was a bit ambitious to paint the person, but we'll find out if that's the case now, won't we? Like I said, they haven't got a dome over their head. Something like that. Very simple. Same material as here, this color is. And then I've got to do like muscles, you know. And the muscles have got to be reflective. I'm going to do the kind of chain link shape that you see in the arm. It's going to follow human anatomy pretty much. Make that a bit more subtle there. Spread that shadow out along the whole collar actually. I'm gonna get some early highlights in just so I can think. It's looking good already actually. Yeah, maybe this won't be so bad after all. Get some darks in. I don't know how these suits are going to work materials wise, but we'll find out as we design them. Give him a bit of a bean shape. Bit of a spine. Too much, so I'm just going to glaze over it to make it lower contrast. I glazed over it too harshly though, something like that. And like I say, this is going to be going to be shiny in itself. Going to be some Fresnel effect there. Still not sure how to do this shoulder right here. Something like that, maybe. Yeah, a darker red. Oh, server's gone. That really is a dead art gem. Oh, this person is still here. They've drawn some eyes on it. There you go. They're just not showing up on the top or anything. I might not feature because it's going to be so unfinished. If I make a thumbnail for this stream, don't know if this guy's going to be a part of it, sadly. Still got 20 minutes to work on him. Doesn't look too bad. It's just going to be unfinished, I think, by the time the stream ends. It's really one of my first times trying to kind of draw a character with the machine. One of my first times. It's not the first time, but certainly one of them. I'm a bit of a butt. Really too much. Very crude feet. Oh, all of a sudden 2 people just teleported in. How's that look for his feet? They're just the general shape. I feel like his machine... I don't know, I like it. I like it. There's something a bit missing about it, but I can't put my finger on it. I think just some other colours, like some red buttons. Maybe not red, because he's red. Well, we're kind of running out of colours, actually. I think purple. Purple buttons. Something like that, you know? Just a little bit of colour. Maybe that should be surrounded in purple. I don't know. I don't know what it's missing. But it's missing something. Maybe we should give it some antenna or some vents. Something. I don't know. Let's continue on the go. Let's continue on the go. Probably going to be some big gaps at the backs of his knees, where the articulation is. Change his skin a little bit so it's got some more darks under his chin, under his ear. Well, maybe just right in his ear like that. Eye socket under his nose. think the back of his neck as well. Or his neck in general should be a bit darker. And we might start to see a bit of his shoulders as well. Now, I like putting interesting knees on these suits of armor too. I'm probably not going to get round to this person, but I'll leave them there in the sketch. I wonder what that is. I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. Like I say, these kids are just drawing stuff that like I just do not recognise. I don't care to. Still don't even really know what Among Us is. At least this one hasn't been called out for looking like Among Us yet. It's real life Among Us. It's like ultra realistic Among Us. This guy is the Among Us player, the Among Us character, whatever it is. People still play Among Us. I do wonder. Probably these kids do. This guy hasn't got very many features. I could have given him like a backpack or some equipment. Like if you've ever seen like a spacesuit, it's always got like boxes shaped and tubes and stuff all over it. You know, like the equipment to deal with the air filtration and stuff. Yeah, that's it. They're finally done. They have signed it and left. Not been a bad jam. Not been a bad one, but it's not been a great one. Not as good as last time. But the painting that we've done, I quite like. Has a lot of ways to go. So very unfinished as far as the person goes, but it's pretty close to finished as far as the machine goes. Maybe I'll separate them and work on them separately and then bring them back together. Something like that. Should I put it in the thumbnail as well, or should I leave it as the default thumbnail? That's the question. Because the guy's just so unfinished. And I think I am going to leave it here. This seems like the end of the art jam, so probably a good point to leave off. And yeah, I should probably make the